ESPN 1700. It's the lunch hour with Mr. Credit, telling you everything they don't want you to know. Man, do we have a lot of stuff to get to today. And a beautiful day. Oh, you just can't add. This is what it's all about. Southern California, San Diego, 82 degrees. December 13th, it's 82 degrees. This is why we pay all the money to live in this wonderful place. Don't forget how good we have it right here. I keep getting Facebooks from all the people back home. They're like, it's 0 and stuff. I'm like, oh, jeez. I'm sorry. I don't even repost anything like, hey, it's 82 here in Southern California, because that's just rude.
Wow, that is brutal.
Speaking of brutal, poor Kansas City Chiefs had to deal with Brodie Croyle, who's now 0-10 as a starter in the NFL, and good luck to here's the thing. He's a good kid, and we know that, but having a tough time in the NFL. Chargers pulling it off for Mr. Credit. In case you didn't catch the show a couple of times last week when I made my bold prediction and guaranteed the Charger victory this weekend, Brooke, let's go ahead and fire it up and lead into how much I actually laid on the line for the Chargers to win this game. 8-4 Chiefs, by the way, at 6-6 Chargers coming into San Diego. Castle had the appendectomy, said he was going to play. He's not going to play. I have guaranteed the Chargers will win this game. Guaranteed it. If the Chargers do not win on Sunday, I will be singing a song on the air Monday of Brooks' choice. What are you working on, by the way? Copacabana? Oh, come on, that's so weak.
That.
But at the same time, it'll be Brooks' choice. Let me put that. The Chargers have to lose first. Don't forget that. And I'm going to wear my Chargers shirt backwards for a whole week and not wash it. So that's the rule. That's what's happening. Mr. Credit has guaranteed a Charger victory this weekend. Chiefs coming into town, probably going to be sans Matt Castle, and I think that helps me out a lot, especially considering Brodie Croyle is 0-9 as a starter, and he's the backup to Castle. All right, so there it is. I put it on the line. I laid it out there. What a different day I could be having today, huh? I mean, if the Chargers lose, the season's over, and I'm in here singing Copacabana. I mean, jumping gigawatts. No! Why do I do that to myself? I just thank goodness that the Chargers got it together. I had a feeling they would play well. And then when the story about Castle came out, after I had made the initial guarantee, of course, I went all crazy with it. Because Castle is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs is Matt Castle. I mean, it's obvious. They couldn't even get a point on the board without him. Nothing. Now, the Chargers have an incredibly good defense that's very underrated right now, which I like that being where it's at. But it's still, wow, 31-zip, making me look so good, giving a great feeling. Hopefully we won't take this for granted. And, it was a fun game to watch. The dance, Tolbert's end zone dance, was awesome. That was so cool. They have that on NFL.com right now. If you go to NFL.com, and the first thing you see is they have this really cool music. Remember that music that was playing earlier? You thought it was my phone? There's really cool music, and part of that is Tolbert doing the dance from this weekend after that nice touchdown. Everybody did their job. We were playing an inferior team that didn't have their best player playing, but everybody did their job, and that's all we need. Just come and do your job. We've got the talent. I've been saying it all year. 7-6 is not the record that properly displays how good the San Diego Chargers are. But, and we're going to talk more about this game as the show goes on, but there's one thing that we can't ignore right now, and that is the fact that the best team in the NFL has showed itself. It is now no longer a debate. It is clear, crystal style.
Check, please.
Who the best team is in the National Football League. It's the New England Patriots, and you can't argue it. I hate the Patriots. I hate Boston anything. I do. That's the truth. But I also cannot ignore the fact that the New England Patriots are the best team in football. Look at what they've done just recently. Okay, how about 0 turnovers in the last 5 games? Go find another team that's got that going for them. Yeah. 0 turnovers in the last 5 games, and the last 2 games they played, they've outscored their opponents 82-10. 82-10, and don't forget who they played. It wasn't the Bills and the Lions. It was the Jets and the Bears, who are 2 teams that people have been talking about, contenders, playoffs. Bears and Jets, and New England goes in and just patronizes them. Just makes them look like little boys. 82-10. Crushes them, both of them. Destroyed. And the Patriots did it in Chicago, mind you, against the Bears in a blizzard. Aren't the Bears supposed to have the advantage there with a crazy good defense, the run game? Nope. Execution wins in conditions. Now, I took the Bears to win a close one, and I was wrong about that. And, boy, they just didn't show up. They dropped a couple interceptions, dropped touchdown passes. I mean, it was just, it was ugly. It looked like the Patriots were the ones who had the advantage. Now, it's not like they're not familiar with the weather and the conditions, playing Foxborough, sometimes in a foot of snow. But they just really separated themselves. All things being equal, the Patriots are the best team in the NFL. Nobody hates that more than me. Trust me. But it is true. So there you go. And there's 2 games tonight, by the way. And how unlucky for ESPN. I mean, how unlucky for ESPN when there's supposed to only be one NFL game. You end up with Baltimore, Houston, which isn't a horrible game. 2 pretty good teams. Not very big markets, though. Not a whole lot of interest surrounding that Monday Night Football game tonight. But then you got the weather problems in Minnesota, which caused the New York Giants to play the Minnesota Vikings tonight as well. And that is going to get in the way of the game on ESPN, Baltimore-Houston. So if you have the choice to watch 2 games, they're both starting at virtually the same time, are you going to watch the Giants play the Vikings? Or are you going to watch Baltimore at Houston? I think you're probably going to be interested in the Brett Favre saga as it continues, and it appears that even the Almighty wants to see the streak go on as the Metrodome roof collapses in Minnesota. Now, how funny is this, by the way? 17 inches of snow is what they said they got. It's Minnesota! You're telling me you don't... Okay. It's Minnesota. It snows 17 inches on a Tuesday. How is that what causes the Metrodome roof to collapse? How could that possibly be? I think there's something else there. And I think the engineers are just going to... Of course, they're going to go, well, whatever. How can a roof collapse in a dome in Minnesota for 17 inches of snow? That's a lot of snow, don't get me wrong. But it's Minnesota. That thing should be built to handle 4 or 5 feet of snow. I mean, you telling me there's guys who go up there every time it snows and push the snow off? Seriously? I don't want that job. Because it snows and snows and snows and snows. And it stays cold forever. It's Minnesota. So anyway, I couldn't believe it. Now, there's amazing pictures, if you haven't seen it, of the roof collapsing because, Fox had everything set up there to do the game, had all the TV crews and television cameras in place, high definition too, so you could see the roof collapsing. Those images, you're going to see those for years and years to come. And it was crazy, man, watching the huge roof collapse. But to the engineer's credit, had there been people in the stands, no one would have been harmed. Because even though the roof collapsed, it still held itself up above where the people were. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty impressive. Chargers skunk the Chiefs on Sunday, 31-0. Just an all-around awesome game. When you look, here's the thing. When you look at the games and you look at the numbers, you can get confused sometimes. I mean, you can see things that aren't there, and you can definitely not see things that are. But when you look at this game, the only thing that you need to see is 31-0. And that's a scoreless third quarter for the Chargers, too, by the way. It's almost as if, what's funny about that is that all they needed was to kick a field goal, and they win that game. How funny is that? And to a rival like the Chiefs, that's a big deal. That's a real big deal. Brody Croyle, by the way, only 17 attempts in that game for 40 yards. 17 attempts for 40 yards. Wow. Really? That is sad, man. That's just sad. I feel bad for the guy. And from a rushing standpoint, only 13 rushes for 48 yards. Yikes. This is scary stuff. If you're a Kansas City fan, you're in the driver's seat, but you need your quarterback or you're screwed. Phillip Rivers, 18 for 24, 226 yards, 2 TDs. Tolbert with 66 yards rushing on 16 carries. Matthews, 16 carries for 65 yards. Each of those guys grabbed a TD. Malcolm Floyd with those 2 awesome receptions. And Darren Sproles with 5 receptions, 51 yards. Both guys averaging over 10 yards a reception, multiple touchdowns. It's just a good game. I mean, that feels good. Everybody got involved. We got a field goal in there. Everybody got a touchdown. Tolbert got 1. Matthews got 1. Floyd got 2. Rivers threw for 2. It's beautiful. I mean, that's a beautiful situation. Things aren't always that good, though, especially these days with the state of the economy, how things are. What's happening with the credit bureaus, what's happening with the big banks, what's happening with the credit card companies. They're all coming after you. They consider it their job to try to steal your money. That's what they do. And they figure out ways to do it without you knowing. They figure out ways to do it without you being able to do anything. And sometimes we just get in a bad situation. It happens to all of us. It's happened to me multiple times in my life. But there's one thing that everyone needs to know, and that's that the number one thing they don't want you to know about is how good Chapter 7 bankruptcy is for you. They don't want you to know that you can delete all of your credit card debt. Delete it forever. Medical bills, collections, all of it can go away. You can stave off foreclosure. You can start putting money back in your pocket. And everyone can legally do this if you qualify. Abe Lincoln did it. Donald Trump, Henry Ford, Walt Disney, all have filed for bankruptcy protection in the past. The good news is it only takes 100 days. And your credit score goes higher almost every single time. Now, if you or anyone you know is experiencing financial stress, make sure you get the free consultation with William McDonald and the McDonald Legal Group. Figure out how you can use the law to delete your debts, become debt-free, and ultimately live a better life. Yahoo! Free consultations, 858-437-0103 to schedule your appointment with William McDonald himself, who is a great guy, and you will not regret this phone call. No matter what happens, you'll get a free education, and that is priceless, especially when it comes to the law. 858-437-0103 if you or anyone you know wants to become debt-free. 858-437-0103. When we come back, will Brett Favre play tonight? I have the answer for you when we come back. It's the Lunch Hour, Mr. Credit, ESPN 1700.
Push me up against the wall, young tuck girl in a push-up bra. I'm falling all over myself to lift your heart and base your health, 'cause with the birds the shed is so long.
Are you sick and tired of just barely making the minimum payments on your credit cards? Do you have any idea how many years it will take for you to pay them off? Hi, Mr. Credit here. If you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, listen very closely. Filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy protection could allow you to eliminate all of your credit card debt and typically only lasts about 3 months. Most likely, your credit score will go much higher afterward. The only person I recommend you speak with about this is William McDonald with the McDonald Legal Group. Call him right now, 858-437-0103. That's 858-437-0103. A 90-day late payment on a credit card will hurt your credit score as much as filing for bankruptcy will. So stop living paycheck to paycheck and call William right now for your free consultation. 858-437-0103. That's 858-437-0103.
This is Lisa with the McDonald Legal Group. We are a debt relief agency. We help people file for bankruptcy relief under the Bankruptcy Code.
My mortgage guy, Craig Sewing with the Craig Sewing Group, Mission Valley and Gateway Funding. I know, and you say this all the time, in difficulty lies opportunity. There is a ton of opportunity in this market right now.
Obviously, refinancing, the best opportunity we're ever going to see. The Fed has just pledged $600 billion in this quantitative easing, which causes mortgage rates to move to insane lows. I would actually change the terminology from refinance to re-strategize, because you can also look at if things are going okay for you. Maybe you want to knock some years off your mortgage, go to a 20-year or even a 15-year, which you usually wouldn't be able to do in most markets, but when you have historically low interest rates, essentially allows you to cut those years off, not see that payment go up.
What you're telling me is, it's not about rate, it's not about term, it's about strategy. How much money are we putting away? I mean, you're going to pay interest, but the question is how much. And when it comes to refinancing, I think you said it the best way. Restructuring is the right thing to do.